Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, professionally known as just Modern Warfare, was an absolute game changer for the series. Instead of making another World War II shooter that would blend into other hundreds of World War II shooters, Infinity Ward decided to set the events of the game in a modern timeline. It took what made the previous games good, put it in a modern setting, changed up the single player structure a little bit, added more compelling progression in multiplayer, then called it a day. It was the start of something revolutionary, highly influential, controversial, nostalgic, and most importantly, a huge franchise that almost everyone knows, loves or hates, accepts or despises. It was the core Call of Duty experience. Modern Warfare was legendary and set the path for more to come. It was the pinnacle of online console gaming. It was what brought competitive console gaming to the mainstream.
Сегодня одной нации мы восприняли перед лицом предательства и оккупации. Товар. Пришло время показать, на что мы способны. Мы никого не боимся. Ready up.
Nine years later saw the release of Infinity Ward's most controversial and most hated game, Infinite Warfare. With the multiplayer reveal trailer being one of the most disliked videos on YouTube, Infinity Ward needed to somehow still get those sales in. So what did they do? Reveal Modern Warfare Remastered, a beloved and iconic installment that put Call of Duty on the map, remastered in amazing visuals. But in order to play it, you were required to purchase a sort of premium or ultimate edition of Infinite Warfare just to play a completely different game. This obviously upset and set off players from buying Call of Duty as a whole that year. Realizing what a stupid choice they've made, it was decided that Modern Warfare Remastered will be available as a standalone game, but the damage was already done. So here we are, nearly 5 years later, nearly 5 games later, and well, Modern Warfare still mostly holds up and still has a mostly decent player base. But of course, it could have been an even bigger player base if Modern Warfare Remastered was originally released as a standalone game. But why do I say it mostly holds up? Well, keep that question at the back of your head for now, as I'm gonna critique but also explain why Modern Warfare Remastered is an almost perfect remaster. I want to first start with the presentation, specifically the visuals. This is where Modern Warfare Remastered instantly gets bonus points and gets a remaster right. It isn't like other remasters where there are subtle graphical upgrades and you play at a higher resolution with cleaned up textures. Unfortunately, with the original Modern Warfare's art direction, that wouldn't be the best move to do. By today's standards, Call of Duty 4 looks insanely outdated and muddy. So Modern Warfare Remastered completely overhauled the visuals while still keeping a similar art direction. With drastically improved lighting, redesigned character models, and like Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, even new animations. Modern Warfare Remastered is visually stunning and cutscenes look visually authentic with the atmosphere. The UI has a much more modern look to it, you know what I'm saying? It's cleaner and allows space for immersion during the campaign. In terms of the voice acting, it's still relatively the same, but I do have to say it still holds up today, well, mostly.
Enemy tanks approaching from the north. Bloody hell, I'm hit. Mac's in trouble. Get to the barn at the northern end of the village.
stop those tanks.
But the voice acting still fits the tone of the narrative, although sometimes cartoonish. But there are times where the voice acting and overall writing is pretty good. For example, the most iconic.
It's the FNG, sir. Go easy on him, sir. It's his first day in the regiment.
Right. What the hell kind of name is Soap, eh? How'd a muppet like you pass selection?
Writing wise, this scene already makes you love Captain Price's character, and essentially shows you his personality throughout most of the Modern Warfare trilogy. Folks like Gaz are so memorable for their random banter, one-liners, and just keeping you company.
Oh, he's got to be taking a piss! We've just busted our asses to get to this LZ, and now they want us to go all the way back down!
Plus, Gaz is just an absolute dude. But we'll get into the characters soon. Just know the voice acting is good. Modern Warfare is considered to have one of, if not the best campaign in the series. Now while I can definitely see that, due to it having a little bit more variety and better pacing in gameplay than most other games in the series, I have to disagree with it being the best campaign in the series. Reason being is the overall narrative, underdeveloped characters, level design, visual design, and lack of compelling set pieces. Now that's not to say the campaign is bad or that I hate it. I mean, I enjoyed my time with it and played over and over again for achievements and collectibles. I just don't think I would consider it even in my top 5 Call of Duty campaigns of all time. I found the overall story to be bland and a little bit too simple. It's a typical war story about saving the world from doom, being set up, and then uniting forces to fight together till the end. But I just didn't find that many interesting things between the beginning and the end of the campaign's plot. I mean, it's only Crew Expendable or Gillied Up and Aftermath that I found interesting. In fact, a majority of the Marine missions I just found boring, bland, and exhausting. The SAS missions were the only acceptable ones for me. But then it all came crashing down near the end of the game where the SAS and the Marines unite, and then the level design to me feels a little messy. Next, I want to talk about the visual art direction of the campaign. Now while I did praise the game for much improved visuals, I still don't exactly enjoy them, especially during the campaign. Which is kind of weird since my favorite Call of Duty campaign is World at War and that game looks very great. But I just didn't find the visuals of the individual levels in Modern Warfare to be appealing nor compelling to look at. While World at War was taking place on tropical islands and jungles, as well as demolished cities, those places somewhat looked great. In World at War, cities have beautiful architecture, but the destruction looks somewhat amazing yet dramatic. The tropical islands and jungles have such a compelling atmosphere and look to them. They were eerie and required you to stay aware. While in Modern Warfare Remastered you go through bland fields of colorless grass and repetitive looking buildings for most of the game, only once are you on a broken bridge, a ship, and a plane. Another thing is the cinematography. This is one thing that World at War improved on. Scripted events aren't as entertaining or immersive in Modern Warfare. Some set pieces don't feel as intense and the overall cinematography left me a little bit underwhelmed, but again this is a 2007 game. That goes for some of the characters as well. Now typically in a war story there isn't as much character development or growth, but Call of Duty campaigns have had some character development and backstory, mostly in the Treyarch games. Well, Modern Warfare's cast feels mostly underdeveloped. By the end of the campaign, Iman, Gaz and Griggs are killed off, but yet we don't know much about them at all. Iman Zakhaev is the main villain. We barely know anything about his character except he has a son that later gets killed and that he's trying to doom the world. Gaz and especially Griggs are also very underdeveloped. Griggs has been in very few missions, so we don't even see him talk much. Luckily, this has been improved in later games, mostly the Treyarch ones. Now we talk about the iconic multiplayer. Remember when I told you to keep the question at the back of your head? Why is Modern Warfare Remastered an almost perfect remaster? Here's where that question comes to play. Now essentially a remaster is supposed to be a fixed, updated, overhauled and complete re-release, right? Not supposed to add or change core elements. Well, here's where Activision zaps you with a middle finger and looks for your wallet. What made the original Modern Warfare's multiplayer good was the simple but fleshed out progression system, not this time around. Modern Warfare Remastered's simple but fleshed out progression was overhauled to be scummy and pay to win. They have added supply drops, microtransactions, and DLC weapons that weren't in the original game, and that have essentially brought new problems to the game. It's either you take the easy route and buy these weapons with real money and skip the overall progression system, or prepare to grind for months and months of multiplayer, with no breaks. Another thing is the variety map pack. Oh, this one got me frustrated. A remaster is supposed to give the players the complete experience. Meanwhile, Modern Warfare Remastered still requires you to pay for a near decade-old expansion pack. And when you really think about it, it's frustratingly greedy. These are really bad decisions and are the exact reasons why Modern Warfare Remastered isn't a perfect sequel. It has ruined the game greatly, which is why people prefer the original over this scummy remaster. But microtransactions aside, let's talk about the actual content. There are tons of game modes in this game. Everything from your classic TDM to ground war, party modes like prop hunt to slasher, team tactical to cage match, sabotage to headquarters, snipers only to gun game, all that, a good amount of party modes and competitive modes. But unfortunately, since Activision and Infinity Ward have poisoned this game, there isn't the player base to play many of these modes, which is really a shame. I haven't been able to play headquarters, cage match, RPGs only, nor a proper ground war match. Gameplay wise, Modern Warfare Remastered is fun, most of the time that is. But most of my fun was in slightly slower paced game modes, like Team Tactical or Search and Destroy. Modern Warfare Remastered does shine quite a bit in those slower paced game modes. It's intense, even intimidating at times, but still fairly fun. The movement pretty much fits these modes, although still a little fast paced. Although I have a slight problem with the time to kill in this game. This is very subtle. I don't know if this is just me, but the time to kill sometimes feels inconsistent. At times it takes an entire magazine to kill a player, and other times you can kill a player in a heartbeat, with or without Juggernaut equipped. Comment down below if you feel that same way. I don't know, that's just me. The gunplay still feels buttery smooth, although I did grow accustomed to the newer game's handling, with the authentic kicks of the barrel, so it felt a little weird playing this game again. The guns in this game have almost no recoil. Like, the gunplay in this game is arcadey as all hell. Like, recoil doesn't even exist in this game. Or at least what I'm trying to say is the recoil and bloom is pretty easy to control. The overall gameplay still pretty much holds up today, although I've kind of matured and moved on to the Battlefield and Killzone type gameplay. There were so many things done right with Modern Warfare Remastered, with completely overhauled visuals and animations, classic gameplay, and remastered iconic maps. Although it all came falling down when the game was plagued with supply drops, microtransactions, and DLC weapons that weren't in the original game, as well as a late standalone release. As well as a near decade-old map pack that should have been free for all players from the get-go. What could have been the perfect remaster, the perfect love letter to old-school Call of Duty fans, was ruined by greed and new unwanted problems. And that, ladies and gents, is why Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered is nearly a perfect remaster, and part of the story of how Activision became greedy villains in the gaming industry. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Yes, I'm back with new video essays. The last video, which was a rant about the school system, didn't perform as well, mainly because I didn't want to pardon me, I didn't want to promote that video that much, which is all good. That video wasn't such a big deal. But I'm back with the gaming stuff and trying to stay mostly consistent. But just to give you a little behind the scenes, a little insights on what's happening in life. Well, last semester or term of school was bumpy, stressful, and crazy to say the least, you know. Plus, I took a hiatus from content creating during my school holiday. You know, I just wanted to take some time to myself, play some games with friends, having fun and all with no stress. Also, I was busy making music just for fun. But honestly, I kind of missed content creating, keeping you guys entertained with my style video essays, which may not be the most unique, but I just do me. You know, keeping the channel feed refreshed, you know. So not much else to say. I'm not too sure what my next video is gonna be. But yeah, I'm done here. This is enough of the postscript. Hope you guys enjoyed. Still trying to get back into the mood of things, so you might have realized or noticed that my script writing and overall voiceover is still a little rusty. But enough with the rambling. Everybody stay safe, stay entertained, take care, and take it easy. And also, thank you guys so much for getting the Just Cause 4 video to 2,000 views. There's always that one video that suddenly blows up, but I didn't know it would be for like an underrated open world game like Just Cause 4. Plus, it's not even that old of a game, so I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys. I'm overwhelmed with happiness with how that video did. We also just recently got our the Dirt 5 video to 200 views. Awesome. As well as the Just Cause 3 video getting nearly like 300 and a half views. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next video, hopefully next week. Cheers.
Hot off the heels of Call of Duty 2, the Infinity Ward team has been developing Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. We're making a more sophisticated, deeper Call of Duty experience. Variety is the next big thing for us. We're going deep and we're going hard.
The weak man may be careful not to soil himself when he plays this game.
Enter the mind, in time you'll find my lines combine and entwine, underline, rhyme divine. No Heim, you go against me, 249, lift you swiftly. Front lines in it with me, think I'm lying, come and get me. Hot Sergeant Briggs, reporting for duty.
Roger.
Some say this belong in the movie, but this the third installment, Infinity Ward shit. Don't soil your drawers, cause it's deep in his heart, bitch.